ideology ascends again, freedom fights back.
They call it progress. History calls it warning.
The Red Threat, in theaters now.
1 million New Yorkers are packing their bags right now, and it's all because of one man, Zohran Mamdani, a 34-year-old communist running for mayor. He's triggered the largest exodus from Manhattan since 9/11. He quotes Marxist dictators. He wants to defund the New York Police Department. He calls cops racist, and somehow he's leading in the polls. Even Democrats are panicking. House leader Hakeem Jeffries told him to his face he's not the future of their party. Piers Morgan called him a wolf in sheep's clothing, but here's the kicker. Kamala Harris just endorsed him as a rising star. What happens next will determine if New York dies or survives. So keep watching. And as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in right now. Waiting for things to go back to normal is not a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, no one knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth is not digital, it's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So when you're sitting around the table this holiday season surrounded by family, remember the best gift you can give is not under the tree, it's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers, peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. Before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future. Visit nextnewsgold.com and get your free wealth protection kit today. That's nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance and find out how you can get 10, that's right, 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts. You can call that number 877-646-5347 to learn more. Now, just 3 hours ago, President Trump pleading with New York to vote for Cuomo over the communist Mamdani and threatens to hold federal funding if Mamdani wins. Wow, President Trump actually saying to vote for Cuomo. If a communist candidate, Zohran Mamdani, wins the election for mayor of New York, it's highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home, because the fact that as a communist, this once great city had zero chance of success or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send, as president, good money after bad. It's my obligation to run the nation. It's my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should Mamdani win. His principles have been tested for over 1,000 years, and never once have they been successful. I would much rather see a Democrat who has a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He was nothing as an assemblyman, ranked at the bottom of the class, and as mayor of potentially, again, the greatest city in the world, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory. We must also remember this: a vote for Curtis Siwa, who looks much better without a beret, is a vote for Mamdani. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice, but you must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not. Check this out. Brandon Straka, walk away movement. Remember that guy? The $100 million betrayal. Zohran Mamdani wants New Yorkers to pay $100 million so non-citizens can have free lawyers.
Citizens can have free. Zohran Mamdani wants to take $100 million from tax-paying citizens of New York to pay for lawyers for people who came to our country illegally so they can fight their deportations.
How ridiculous does that sound? 1 million or more New Yorkers are planning a mass exodus if communist Zohran Mamdani wins the mayoral race. 1 million New Yorkers. This is according to the New York Post. And Kamala Harris 10 hours ago says that Mamdani and Jasmine Crockett are the future stars of the Democrat Party. Holy cow.
Group of people.
Look who just showed up. Look who showed up. Crawl out of her hole.
We have hard.
But of course, she's trying to sell a book now, too, remember?
We have so many stars in our party. There are so many stars. And let's not be afraid of them. You talk about Mamdani. I mean, he's exciting this group of people who otherwise don't think of themselves as being aligned or a part or even seen by the system. You just look at the range of what we have. So many. Jasmine Crockett, who I just talked to recently. I mean, we have so many stars. We have so many stars in our party.
Mamdani and Crockett. Those are the rising stars. Senator John Kennedy drops a truth nuke. I love this guy.
And now, if you look, there's been no reflection, introspection, or course correction. So I don't see them changing. And now, if you look at the front runners for president, you got Buttigieg, Kamala, Gavin, AOC. Is that the future of this party now?
Well, I don't think they have a future until they stand up to the loon wing of their party. The loon wing, though, the socialist wing is in control. They're about to elect Mr. Mamdani mayor of New York. And this group, we remember them from the Biden days when they had influence with President Biden. They hyperventilate if you use the wrong pronoun.
Yeah.
They think Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Dr. Zeus and Mr. Potato Head are a bunch of racists. They think children ought to be able to change genders at recess. The American people don't think that. And many Democrats don't. I want to be fair. But the loon wing does, and they're in control.
Well, I mean, who are the ones except for John Fetterman speaking out?
None. There you go. Because they're scared. They're not scared of Senator Schumer. They're scared of Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. And sooner or later, well, I don't know what's going to happen, Sean, but as a Republican, this is probably good for Republicans, but I think it's bad for the country.
Yeah.
I believe in competition. And I think New York is the greatest city in the world, and I don't want to see it ruined.
It's going to get ruined if Mamdani's elected. Hopefully President Trump's post will wake up some folks, but most people are going to ignore that because it's President Trump. Paul Zipula, Zohran Mamdani, is told to his face that leader Hakeem Jeffries said Mamdani is not the future of the Democrat Party, and he refused to respond.
Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning if you're the future of the Democratic Party. He said no.
Good to know.
Do you have a response?
No, I'm focused on the next 2 days.
Do you think you're the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't dare predict the future. That's why I'm out here canvassing to deal with my anxiety to get through the tape of the future of 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
Now, Jessica, that conversation about whether or not he's the future of the Democratic Party is going to be what we're going to be talking about likely on Wednesday morning. Hakeem Jeffries was asked this morning.
Hakeem Jeffries. Here's Piers Morgan torching Mamdani.
Ties. I mean, and he's a radical too. And some of his radical Islamic ties. I mean, y'all experienced that in London as well.
Sure. So look, Obama compared to Mamdani is not radical. Let's be clear. I mean, if you look at Mamdani, the defund the police stuff that he was openly posting, you would have thought that would be a disqualifying thing for a mayor of New York City. You would just think if you call the NYPD a bunch of racists who have to be defunded, in other words, just stopped, you would think that person could never become the mayor. He's trying to pretend that he is, a nice little sheep. He's not. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Mm-hmm. He's a proper socialist who's going to whack people in New York. And the day of reckoning will come when he actually has to pay for all this stuff. And, there is nowhere in the world where you can point to where actual socialism over any sustained period has worked.
And he's a radical, too. And some of his radical Islamic ties.
Wow. Here's more. CNN's doing their best. 11 hours ago. Media lies. CNN's doing their best to whitewash the truth about Zohran Mamdani after Trump labeled him a communist.
Who has referred to him as
with this much
a communist, even though We heard from Mamdani, who was surrounded by his supporters, including State Attorney General Letitia James. And we also heard his reaction to comments from President Trump, who has referred to him as a communist, even though Mamdani is a democratic socialist, and has threatened to take funding from the city of New York. We heard from
darkness, it takes courage to light a new path. As Thomas Sankara once said, fundamental change only comes from the courage to turn your back on the old formulas, the courage to invent the future. Together, that is exactly what we have done. For too long, we have been told to be satisfied with abstractions and strongly worded letters.
Oh boy, man. New York is screwed. Here's President Trump calling him a communist.
Socialist, communist.
Zohran Mamdani, 34-year-old Democratic socialist. He's the front
communist, not socialist, communist. He's far worse than a socialist.
Some people have compared him to a left-wing version of you, charismatic, breaking the old rules. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I'm a much better looking person than him, right?
Zohran.
Oh boy, here's President Trump more on Mamdani on 60 Minutes.
Money to New York.
But what if Mamdani becomes mayor?
It's going to be hard for me as the president to give a lot of money to New York. Because if you have a communist running New York, all you're doing is wasting the money you're sending there. So I don't know that he's one, and I'm not a fan of Cuomo one way or the other, but if it's going to be between a bad Democrat and a communist, I'm going to pick the bad Democrat all the time, to be honest with you.
The lesser of two evils. That's what New York's got right now. And a million or more are planning a mass exodus. Nearly a million New Yorkers ready to flee New York if Mamdani becomes mayor, possibly the largest exodus in history. Hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers are prepared to bolt from the Big Apple if Mamdani wins the Tuesday mayoral race, potentially setting the stage for the largest population flight in U.S. history. That's what a poll is warning. Around 765,000 people of the 8.4 million residents who call New York their home are preparing to leave. 9% New Yorkers sharing that they would definitely leave the city if he's elected. If those residents were to leave, it would be equal to the population of Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, or Seattle fleeing the city. There are 25% of New Yorkers, about 2.12 million, said they would consider packing up and leaving. Among the high earners, 7% of those making over $250,000 a year said they would definitely flee. Tuesday is going to be a reckoning. If you got value from this report, tab subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is the death rattle of a once great city. When a communist who quotes mass murderers can run for mayor and lead in polls, you know the infection has spread to the bone. Zohran Mamdani doesn't hide his agenda. He celebrates it. Defund police while crime explodes, seize property while businesses flee, quote dictators whose tribunals executed rivals without trial. And the Democrat establishment, they're terrified, but not enough to stop him. Kamala Harris endorsing this Marxist tells you everything about where their party is headed. 1 million New Yorkers voting with their feet tells you everything about where this ends. Trump warned the federal money won't bail out a communist New York, and he's right. You can't subsidize it. Wall Street's packing up, families fleeing. The city that survived 9/11 might not survive communism. So here's my question for the comments. Would you stay in New York if Mamdani wins? Yes or no? Comment below. And grab some merch while America's still free. The link's in the description.